Hi, I'm Bernie, and I'm going to show you how to use NXSys, which is my NX interlocking simulator, which runs on Windows and the Mac. I'll be using the Mac version, but the Windows version works identically. First, you have to start it up. I assume you've downloaded it properly, and you know where the executables are, or maybe you've even made an icon for it. So I'm going to use the icon that I've made for it, like this. This is what you'll get when you start it up. And now you have to load a particular interlocking, which is a scenario of a particular place in the New York City subway system with its particular switches and signals. Well, I've invented a place which is called Progman Street, which is named after the Windows 3.1 program manager with which I started this thing a long time ago. And there are many streets in New York whose name ends in man, like Dyckman or Friedman, so Progman was kind of funny. So I'm going to open the Progman Street interlocking. This is the Progman directory, and there's progman.track in it. Now, there we are. There's the Progman Street interlocking. This is what a panel looks like, an NX, or entrance exit control panel, as would be seen in New York City to this day. There are lines representing tracks, and there are these little symbol things representing signals. Now, to see the actual signal, you click right on it, show full signal, and that's what the signal looks like. So that's signal 4, as we call it. 4 is a reference number that the interlocking assigns to it, so you can talk about signal 4. 82707 is the station number, which means track 2, which is northbound local, 707 feet, that's 70,700 feet from the 0 of the BMT, which is where this is. Oh, I guess it looks a little bit like 57th Street and 7th Avenue, where Carnegie Hall is. So what we want to do is to be able to create routes, which means line up the switches such that trains can go from one point to another. And in an entrance-exit interlocking, this is done by choosing the entrance, i.e. signal 4, so we'll click here, and the exit, which is signal 26, so we'll click on 26. Now, these red flashings mean that these switch tracks are moving. And now, once they're all moved, a route is lined or aligned. See, that's the white path from here to there. And if you look at the signal, it indicates that the motorman should go full speed, or train operator, I should say these days. It was motorman in my day. There are many females now. And take the switch track to divert. Now, in order to cancel this, we have to cancel signal 4, which we can do by clicking on it. And that cancels signal 4, but signal 10, which got involved, is still selected. They're still routed, and there's still a path there, so we have to cancel that too. In fact, the path from 4 to 26 consists of two separate subpaths, which is 4 to 10 and 10 to 26. But the wonder of what's so-called through routing or end-to-end routing lines them all up and figures out which exit corresponds to which entrance. So I'm going to close, I'm going to cancel those signals, and now we see that these blue lines, which don't exist on a real panel, but NXSys shows you them to help you learn, these two switches are thrown, but we don't have to worry about that, because if we want them to be unthrown, for instance, like to route a train from 4 to 30, we just say route the train, or set up a route from 4 to 30, and there we go, the interlocking line set up, and we have green over green, which means go straight. Now, perhaps you want to see this with real trains or something like them. So NXSys allows you trains, but we have to set up the route beforehand, so let's say from 4 to 14. And if this is a northbound local or train on a local track, which is going to terminate at the express track here, we also have to clear this approach signal. Well, let's show full signal it so we can see it is red. The train will be stopped by the train stop at this signal. So we initiate at signal 2, and signal 2 is now selected and chosen, and the route is aligned, and we can now create a train. Train creation does not exist on real panels, of course, but on NXSys we can create trains. So we say create a new train, and we have to click, see with the mouse, choose a station, choose a section, such as this at the end, and this is the operator's train control. We'll put it over here. And as you see, this train, it just passed signal 2. And as it passed signal 2 became canceled, which is what happens in real life, unless the signal is fleeted. You can read about that. And now signal 4 has been canceled, and the train is taking the switch, and will proceed past signal 10 and past signal 4720, and go into the pocket here. Now, if we try to align a route now, let's say from here to there, we can't, because these switches cannot be moved. They are locked. See, well, they're not locked anymore because this train has moved out. But we can stop the train, halt, and let's say we cancel this initiation, just another route. We can now reverse the train and route the train from 14 to the southbound local track. And the route will line up in the south direction. And now we reverse the train, and we say observant, and the train will now move of its own accord. Now, let's find out. And the train is indeed moving south and vacating these sections. Now I'm going to blow this train away by typing kill. You can't do that with real trains. People on them get very upset. And I will note that you can move switches if they are unlocked. The red light means that the switch is locked, so I can move switch 7 by using the switch auxiliary key and click on normal to normal that switch, and it moves. However, we don't normally do that. We use the entrance-exit routing mechanism as so, and when routes are set up, these switches are locked. None of them can be moved by auxiliary switches. The auxiliary switches are for testing and other complicated circumstances. I'm going to stop here because I've shown you the general idea, and you can read the PDF file and learn about more complicated stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this demo and learn to use NXSys and learn something about the signaling and interlocking control of New York City Transit Authority, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, pretty much from the years 1950 to 2000. Things are a little different now, and go learn about them. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.